Tina Peters is still in prison, but now she has a piece of paper signed by President Trump if she's allowed to decorate her cell walls. The paper says that it's a pardon. American law says otherwise, that a president cannot pardon someone for state crimes. But Peters' legal team and Trump are counting on the Supreme Court creating a vast new presidential power for him. Today, the White House released a copy of this so-called pardon. It was signed and dated a week ago, December 5th, which is super weird because since that date, Peters' legal team has been out publicly pleading for a pardon when, if you believe the date on the document, it had already been issued but just kept a secret. Peters is 1 year into a 9-year state sentence after she led a breach of her county's election equipment in an unsuccessful search for President Trump's claimed election rigging. Even her attorneys say they don't know what happens next, whether Peters is going to have to stay in prison pending a long, lengthy legal battle, or whether the Trump administration might take some other, more drastic action to spring her out of prison in Pueblo. In an interview with our partners in Colorado Springs, KRDO-TV, Peters' attorney is already talking about a different plan to get her out, saying that the Trump Justice Department's investigation into Colorado's prison system, the investigation announced this week, is really about Tina.
So now that's stimulated an investigation. The federal government is going to now be looking at these prisons, and it could be that it's not just Tina Peters that needs to be moved. It could be that they all need to move. So anything could happen. So if they were to move in there and move Tina Peters out, that would be probably with other people moving out. If they don't do that, it's possible they could go in there with marshals and say, this woman needs to be released. She's been pardoned.
They're throwing anything against the wall, right? At this point, they've endorsed that investigation from the DOJ could be a way to get her out. They've endorsed the idea of a military raid on the prison. Or there's this supposed pardon, which would require a court challenge that makes its way to the Supreme Court, where Peters' attorney predicts that the conservative Supreme Court majority would give Trump a power that no American president has ever had.